In the week leading up to the national lockdown, we realised it was becoming unsafe to carry our passengers in the traditional way. Although we sanitised the buses before and after every journey, we took the difficult decision to temporarily suspend carrying passengers. However, we knew that this would cause real hardship, particularly to those living in very remote rural areas. We spent that week redesigning ourselves into a shopping list pick-up and delivery service, which we implemented on Monday the 23rd of March, and in our innocence imagined would last for a couple of weeks. At the same time, we started a telephone service where we phoned every single one of our customers at least once a week, just to check in and find out how they were doing. By the end of April, we realised this wasn't going to be a couple of weeks, and we were in this long term. At that point, we started looking at ways that we could just cheer people up a little bit. The first of these were a bunch of flowers. The flowers were bought fresh every single day, individually labelled, and went out with everybody shopping the next day. I think this was the Sunday night in my living room where we used every single receptacle in the house to store the flowers. A couple of weeks later, sadly, one of our ladies' daughters had to cancel their wedding, and she donated all her sugared almonds, which we then turned into little treat bags for everybody on the bus. From these smaller projects and regular meetings with Angela Keefe, our area manager, and regular contact with our partners Devon and District Age Concern, a much larger project grew. By this time, we were all becoming more and more increasingly concerned by the mental health and well-being of all our customers, as by this time, lockdown had gone on over 2 months. The afternoon tea project was born. Over a 2-week period in June and July, timed to tie in with national COVID-19 announcements, we delivered 297 afternoon teas. A beautiful afternoon tea was prepared by the Boyndy Trust staff and was funded by Aberdeenshire Council, Devon and District Age Concern and ourselves. In the bag, as well as the afternoon tea, were information leaflets from people such as Aberdeenshire Council and Police Scotland. An added bonus was a wonderful donation from Hamlins of some of their delicious porridge oats and oatmeal, and a wonderfully supportive letter from Andrew Simpson, the Lord Lieutenant of Banffshire. Unfortunately, there aren't many photos of the delivery of the afternoon tea, as by that time, most of us had not seen a hairdresser or a beautician since March. Whilst we were delivering the afternoon teas, we spent a long time chatting to people, which gave us some very valuable information about how people were really feeling. This included things like the lack of grass cutting and how depressed that made some people feel. We managed to feed this back to Aberdeenshire Council, giving them also valuable information. One of the outcomes from the afternoon tea project for us as an organisation was to realise the benefits of the weekly phone calls that we've been making throughout the lockdown period. It was decided that this is a service that we will never stop now. We have secured £500 of funding from Tesco's so that we can continue this service. Now I'd like to let you hear from one of our ladies who was referred to us through the GCAH, the Grampian Coronavirus Assistance.
Hello. Dial-a-Bus have been looking after us since the start of the whole coronavirus outbreak in March this year, 2020. Without them, we literally would have had difficulty surviving in the early days because we couldn't get regular supermarket slots or order food in. Nothing has been too much trouble for them, and they really have gone above and beyond the extra mile to look after us, so I highly recommend them.
For the end of this video, I'd like to take a moment to thank the staff and volunteers of the Banffshire Partnership Dial-a-Bus. Our staff are the real assets of Banffshire Partnership. Not one of them had a day off. They all worked extra hours, and the paid staff did those extra hours as volunteers. They worked in very difficult conditions. At the beginning of lockdown, they couldn't get things on people's shopping lists, and they went to multiple supermarkets, sometimes queuing for over an hour to get in. They couldn't have a cup of tea anywhere, and for many, many months, they didn't have access to a toilet. These are the real stars of Banffshire Partnership.